right, so next we're going to cover our main presentation. Our guest speaker tonight is Amelia Goldberg, who is a longtime member and also contributor to amateur astronomy in the Houston area. If there ever was a who's who of amateur astronomy in the Houston area, I would think that, I would think that both Amelia and Steve would be near the top of that list. So you can see they're heavily involved with star parties, the Texas Star Party, over 20 years. They've been involved with that. Recipient of the Omega Centauri Award in 1991, and also received the Lone Star Gazer Award as well in 99, and received the Texas Star Party Meritorious Award in 2014. She's also an expert observer and earned her Master's Observer Award from the Astronomical League. And she's actually going to be talking about a program that she actually authored called the Universe Sampler today, which is kind of a beginner's program to get started in observing programs in the Astronomical League. So has an asteroid named after her. So like I said, she's heavily awarded, and then her famous pink telescope that actually she was using before the movie Barbie came out. Okay, so so that was that pre-existent Barbie movie. So she's famous at our Astronomy on Wheels, and inspires little girls everywhere with her and boys with her pink telescope. So without further ado, I'd like to hand it over to Amelia, and we'll switch over to Amelia's slide.
Hi, everybody. Sorry. It seems that some of our newer members are interested in doing some visual observing rather than astrophotography. So I was asked to do an overview of the Astronomical League's Universe Sampler program. Excuse me. This Universe Sampler is an observing program, one of the Astronomical League's observing programs that is designed for the beginner. And it's designed as a teaching aid to teach some of the basics of astronomy that the new observer needs to learn. Back in the mid-90s, there really weren't nearly as many Astronomical League observing programs as we have today. Today, there's pretty close to 100. Back then, beginners usually started with the Messier program because it had a lot of really bright objects. And once they finished that, they jumped right into the Herschel 400 program. That's a pretty big jump. There was nothing in between. There was nothing for the beginning observer. So the Universe Sampler was created to fill that need. The program starts with lessons on some of the basics that you need to know, like basic sky movement. This lesson helps you to understand the relationship between the Earth sphere and the sky sphere. Another lesson talks about how to find north. Thank you. You can use the Big Dipper. Does it show up?
Yes.
These two stars of the Big Dipper point to Polaris, the North Star. So anytime the Big Dipper is up, there's not a problem finding north. However, if the Big Dipper is not up, you can use your compass to find north. When you're facing north, your back is to the south, your right arm is to the east, and your left arm is to the west. And most of us are pretty much aware of where the sun sets if we're out for an observing session. We usually get out before dark. So if you can remember where the sun set and place your body to where your left arm is pointing west, you will be facing north. Another lesson talks about angular measures of distance in the sky. You can use your hands as a measuring stick. With your arm held out in front of you, your little finger covers about a half a degree of sky. That's about the size of the full moon. Your fist is about 10 degrees. Yeah, that's hard to do. Hook 'em horn is about 15 degrees. Or, which is not too easy to do, you can use the Big Dipper. This is about a fist width. No, I'm sorry, 3 fingers. This is about a fist width, and this is a hook 'em horns width. Another lesson states the location of objects in the sky. Excuse me. Just as any city on Earth can be pinpointed using longitude and latitude, objects in the sky can be pinpointed using RA and depth. When you project longitude and latitude from the Earth out into the sky, longitude becomes the hours, circles of right ascension, and there are 24 of them. And latitude becomes your parallels of declination, with the equator being at 0 degrees. The north celestial pole will be at plus 90 degrees, and the south celestial pole will be at a minus 90 degrees. Another lesson covers star hopping. You find a naked eye star on your star chart that is close to your target object. Then you locate that naked eye star in the sky, and you put your scope on it. And in your finder scope, you look for little patterns of stars that you see on your star chart that are between that bright star and your target object, and you follow field by field in your finder scope until you get to your target object. And this is important that you learn, because this program requires that you star hop to the objects that you're going to look at. There's another lesson on recording your observations. These are some of the things that you should include in your observations, in your descriptions. First of all, of course, your name, your location, and most of the league observing programs require that you provide Latin long for your location. You need the date and time. You need the instrument that you use and the magnification or the eyepiece size. The object name or number that you're looking at. And you should also try to include, like, the brightness of the object. Is it really, really faint? Is it just sort of faint? Is it bright? Do you need averted vision to see it? And also the shape of the object, the overall shape, not really detailed. Is it round? Is it sort of oval? Is it elongated? Is it irregular shape? A lot of your open clusters are just a regular shape. And can you see any color in these objects? You will see color in the stars, especially the bright stars. But very seldom will you see color in a deep sky object. I have seen color in some of the objects. And when I was much younger, the Orion Nebula was always blue-green. It isn't anymore. Also ask yourself if there's any stars nearby or touching the object. Are there any other deep sky objects in the same field? And can you see that object in your finder? Many times you can. There's also lessons on the moon, eyepiece field orientation, variable stars, stars that change their brightness over time, and many other things. There are 3 observing lists. These 3 lists, as the name of the program indicates, give you a sampling of the many different types of objects that you'll find in the night sky. You can use either a telescope / binoculars, or you can use only your eyes. Both methods have the same number and the same type of objects. List 1 is a naked eye list, and everybody has to look at it with only their eyes. And list 1 must be observed by everyone. It starts with 15 of the brightest stars in the sky. Basically, you roughly sketch the constellation outline and you label the bright stars. These stars will become your guideposts, finding other things in the sky. So you really need to learn the names of these stars and where to find them. And if you're very careful in your sketching of the constellation outline and you include everything that's required on the Constellation Hunter program, you can use these observations for that program. Another lesson is on angular distance, and you will estimate the distance using your hand measurements between 2 pairs of stars. You'll also estimate the altitude, how high an object is in the sky, and the azimuths, where around the horizon the stars are. You'll estimate the brightness of variable stars. And AAVSO star charts are provided. These charts will give you other stars in the field with known brightnesses to compare the brightness of the variable star against. You'll also look at solar system objects. You look at the moon, and you'll roughly sketch the outlines of certain features on the moon during certain times in its cycle. You look at 3 planets, your choice, anything open, or you'll look at a comet. And if you're doing the naked eye program, and there is no naked eye comet available, there is an alternate exercise that you can do instead of the visual observation. You'll plot the path of 2 meteors on your star chart. And you'll look at the sun. And since it's so dangerous to look at the sun without the proper filtering equipment, and a lot of people don't have that proper filtering equipment, the program only requires that you look at the sun through a pinhole camera. And that's, you punch a hole in a piece of cardboard and you put your back to the sun and you hold that cardboard up where it will project the sun's image in front of you onto something, piece of paper or whatever. That way you don't take any chances with your eyesight. List 2 and list 3 are the deep sky objects. There's the same type of objects on both lists. You'll look at double stars. One of my favorites that's on the list is Albireo. It's a beautiful blue and gold star, and that's an excellent object to use for outreach. People are very impressed with the color difference between those 2. You look at open clusters. NGC 457 is on the list. That's the ET cluster. It's another good one for outreach. Both adults and kids just love this object. They really get a kick out of it. You look at globular clusters. You look at galaxies. M31 is on the naked eye list. And if you're in fairly dark skies, it's very easy to see. You look at nebula. The Orion Nebula is another object that's great for outreach. It's very easy to find, and it shows up very well in light polluted skies. As with all of the league programs, there's rules that you have to follow. Main rule: use of setting circles, computer-driven telescopes, except for tracking purposes only, or any other electronic device used to locate the object is not allowed. You must use the star hop method to find your objects. You have to keep a log of your observations. And we've already gone over some of the things that you should put in your logs. And in every one of your logs, you should put the date and time, your location, the condition, seeing conditions, the instrument that you use in the magnification, and your description of an object. And that doesn't mean copying the description out of the book. It means, what do you see in that eyepiece? A lot of times I'll have descriptions like M7 is brighter than M6. Well, that's not a description. So make sure that you write down what you actually see in your telescope. You can log your observations in computer programs like Sky Tools. Actually, Sky Tools is a very good program to use, because not only can you log your observations, you can plan your observing session, you can print out charts, and after you've logged your programs, if you're doing more than one program and you log them all in, there's a sort function that you can separate out your observing programs to submit to your award. Or you can use pre-printed log sheets. Not working. Not working. It's not coming in.
Is that the next line? Yeah.
These are some that I created in Word. So you can create, you can tailor your log sheets to fit the program that you're working on, to make sure that you have all the information that's needed in your observation. And I also recommend that you use a 3-ring binder for each different program. A lot of people work on more than one program at a time. I know I did. I worked on 4 or 5 of them at once. And if you just log everything in a notebook in chronological order, when you get ready to send in your logs to get your award, you're going to have to sort through all of that stuff and rewrite it to send it in. So you need to put your observations in separate binders for each program. When the program's completed, you'll receive a certificate and this pen. One thing I really, really want to stress: observing should be fun. If it's not, you're doing something wrong. And there will come a time when you will be very discouraged. You can't find this object, it's just too hard. You want to quit, you're in over your head, you're just totally disgusted. Well, when that happens, you need to stop. Step away from the telescope, just chill out for a minute. Go talk to somebody. Go have a snack. And leave that difficult object until a later time. You can work up your observing skills a little bit and then go back to that object. It'll still be there when you're ready for it. So when you start observing again, go to something that you think might be a little bit easier to find. Just don't get discouraged. And you can always ask for help. Most observers are more than happy to take the time to help somebody in trouble. So if you're interested in doing this program, you can get the manual from the Astronomical League. It costs $13 and they charge you a $5 shipping fee. Or you can just pick them up from me. I always carry some with me in my car. So if you're interested, see me after the meeting. And I'll get one too. Any questions?
Do we have to register with the Astronomical League, or can we just fill it in and send it in?
For every program, there is a coordinator who goes through your logs and approves them for you to get the pin. And they actually supply the certificate and pin to you. And since Fort Bend is a member of the Astronomical League, you are automatically a member.
Yes.
But you have to talk to someone at the league before you begin, or could you just
No.
start?
No.
Time bound activity?
I'm sorry.
If it is time bound, like can you take however long you want?
How long you can take to do the
Oh,
program?
You can do the whole program in a year if you want to, but you work at your own pace. If it takes you 5 years to do it, that's fine. There's no time limit. The only program that has a time limit is is it called the Sky Puppy? It's for kids that have to finish it before their 11th birthday. And as far as I know, that is the only one with time limit.
So how long is the shortest program? The shortest program is a year long, or it takes a year to do this program, or is there time?
There's no time.
There's no time limit.
However fast you want to do it.
You get it done in a couple of months. You work at your own pace on any of the programs. You work at your own pace.
No, I did not think the objects were distributed throughout the year.
But the objects in this program are spread out over a year's time. So you have something the program is actually broken up into 4 different seasons.
Okay,
Spring, summer, winter, and fall. And there's certain objects for each season.
We have a couple of visitors here. We also have a brand new member. Could you explain for them what the Astronomical League is?
The Astronomical League is an umbrella organization over all the astronomy clubs that want to join it. And they provide these programs. They provide the pins and certificates. They provide everything. They provide a lot of things helpful things that you can use in outreach. They'll help you if you need help there. They're just a wealth of information.
Is the Astronomy League US based only, or is it?
It used to be, but now it's expanded. I don't know what other countries are allowed to join the league, but I know that there are other countries.
Well, they pulled that southern hemisphere for constellations, so it's a lot easier for Australia to do southern hemisphere than it is for us.
Yeah.
Then they have their quarterly newsletter magazine.
Yes.
Where they publish.
It's called the
what sheet,
Reflector.
which,
And if you are a member of the league, you get a copy of the Reflector every quarter.
Yeah, it is listed in there, who got the awards this past quarter. So if you get you know, this certificate or any other, everything will be there in the next magazine.
Suitable for training.
Yes.
So how does somebody get access to the program descriptions? Are they like from the observation book that you're
Yes,
talking
they're-
about?
Most of the league programs have an observing manual that goes with the program.
And they can be acquired from the Astronomical League website?
You can order them from the league website, and the Universe Sampler in particular, I have, because it's my program. I am the coordinator of that program. And whoever else is a coordinator for the other programs will have booklets available for their programs.
When you say no electronic devices, it also include charts. Let's say if you want to use a laptop or a tablet for a chart, is that
No, that's
excluded?
not. It's things that find the
Go-to,
object for you,
what you're saying.
like a go-to
Like
telescope.
the go-to.
finds the
So you, I could use.
You can
Sky
use
Safari
electronic
as
charts.
my charts. If I
Yes.
wanted to do
Yeah.
that, not paper charts.
Right. Do that. As long as you don't use something that will find. the
That will
object.
actually move the telescope to find it.
Right, or setting circles.
Or settings.
You move. the telescope.
I know that
Push two is not
Right,
allowed.
right, but I know that there's a way through Sky Tools that you can save the format of Sky Safari. Observing list.
Okay, he's right on that.
I don't know a whole lot about Sky Tools, but Steve does. That's all he uses. I don't use it. I use another.
Yeah, I think everybody else is on mute. Okay. Yeah, I have actually taken observing lists from both. We have observing lists on the FBAC website as well. In Sky Tools format, and also Astronomical League, I think you can get them in that format too, right? And I have loaded them in my Sky Tools and then exported it to a format that Sky Safari can use, and then I've had it on my phone, which I found quite convenient to do that.
Okay, can I get to the next slide?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Get that off of there.
One more.
One more.
Okay, for anybody who might be interested in doing this program, especially if you're new. The Brewers and the Goldbergs are planning an actual observing session with this program. It'll be at the Brewers house on Friday, not Saturday to interfere with the George volunteers, but on Friday, November the 10th, from 6 to 11:30. So if anybody is interested, RSVP to me, and I'll get you the address. And we'd also like to invite some experienced observers to come out and help us. We'd like to be able to have each person with a hand on hand with an experienced observer. And we'll do some of the bright stars. We'll do some of your hand measurements, practice on. We will actually teach you how to star hop to a few of these objects to really get you started on this program. So if you're interested, contact me. And if you'd like a copy of that Observe manual, see me after the meeting. Thank you.